Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be creating a Valentine's Day inspired eye look. Obviously you could wear this look on other times of the year. You don't have to save it for the holiday. But I'm kind of doing a pinkish sparkly eye, so you kind of know what to expect in this video. I am barefaced just because sometimes with the colors that I'm using and the way my eyes are shaped, I get a little bit of a fallout here and it's just kind of hard to wipe away. So I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes today first and then probably do my foundation and stuff off camera, and then kind of come back and finish. Today for this look we are going to be using the Makeup Revolution Emily the Wants palette. Let's go ahead and get started. And actually let me try to get you closer to my actual eyes so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I went in and I primed my eyelids. I used the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer in Nude, which is just kind of what I've been using up lately. So I'm going to take a Wet n Wild large eyeshadow brush. I think it's called a large eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to go into the kind of white shade, the cream in this palette. And I'm just going to set my primer. So nothing really too exciting happening here. I'm also just going to take this right underneath my eyebrow just to kind of lighten that up. Okay, so next I'm going to take my Wet n Wild crease brush and I'm going to go into the shade Prayer, which is like a pinky brown shade. And I'm just going to use that as like my transition. And because I have hooded eyes, I always take it just above my crease just to kind of bring my eye up a little. So for me, Valentine's Day is a little bit different. I don't really see it as a like couple holiday very much. Like me and my husband don't really celebrate Valentine's Day like that. And part of that's for two reasons. One, growing up, my birthday is really close to Valentine's Day. And so it usually kind of fell on Valentine's Day weekend. And somebody I grew up with, his birthday was on Valentine's Day, and so sometimes we'd have to celebrate together. And so really Valentine's Day ended up being more about my birthday, and then me just being annoyed that there was this holiday where I'm going to take this a little bit more into the actual crease now. So anyway, we were just kind of being annoyed that there was this holiday where every gift bag I got had like cheesy hearts on it or roses, or was just like bright pink, especially during a time when I was like not into pink. And so usually around that time of year, Valentine's Day was it's always been just more about my birthday. And then when I got older, Valentine's Day was really annoying because whenever I'd try to like go out with friends and we'd want to like plan dinner reservations, it was like impossible to get dinner reservations because everyone was out. And that annoyed me even more because that's just the kind of person I am. Next I'm going to take Laugh Cry, which is the pink matte shade in the bottom. I'm going to dip my brush in. And I'm going to kind of just, again, go back more through my crease. And this is just going to kind of like pinken up the look. Is that a word? Pinken up? Probably not. Add more of a pink tone to the look, I guess would be more accurate. So anyway, that's the first reason why I really don't celebrate Valentine's Day. And I've never really celebrated Valentine's Day with any of the relationships I've ever had. The second reason is when I think about Valentine's Day and I do celebrate it, I have kind of been in education my whole life. I used to work in childcare. So Valentine's Day for me was always like classroom parties and kids and like treat day and sending Valentines to one another. Even when I taught, you know, it was kind of like dressing up in pink and doing something for your kiddos. And that kind of stuff. So for me, I always kind of think of it more, I guess this is probably why I'm going more the pink route. I don't really think of it as like the relationship sexy holiday. Can't even say that without laughing. That tells you how serious I am about not. So for me to do like a smoky, sexy look, wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. Not for this time of year. When I think about Valentine's Day, I don't really think like that. So just a warning. So again, just wanted to go with kind of like when I think of classroom parties and kids, just pink and glitter everywhere because everything is covered in glitter and little paper hearts and that kind of stuff. But so the next, to deepen up the crease, I'm also going to take a smaller brush. I'm going to take this Glamour Dolls brush, which I don't even know what brush this is because it's worn off. And then we're going to go into Love Tons. And we're going to put that right in the outer corner to add some depth there. Might need a smaller brush for this. Now this is especially a color you have to build. It looks very nice when it's done, but you really have to kind of go in and build it up the way you want it. I'm going to turn the other way so you guys can see. For my lighting's different, so now I can't tell if it matches. I don't know, for you guys who celebrate Valentine's Day, what are your thoughts on it? Like, I'm always curious because I feel like I don't really know a lot of people who celebrate. Like, it's just kind of hallmarky, I guess, so. I'm going to take an even smaller brush. If I can find one today. I'm going to take, this is a double-sided brush from one of the, actually from the Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm going to take this smaller size. And I'm going to go in a little bit with Cheer. Sorry, that was like the worst me showing you. I'm going to go in a little bit with Cheer. And just kind of go a little bit closer to my lash line. Struggle, see, this is what I'm talking about, and I don't really get as much on this side, but I always get a ton on this side of just like fallout, and it's the way my eye bends. I don't mean to do it. I think it's also from like reaching over. I'm a mess. I will tell you, if you struggle with like getting a good blend with colors like this, always take less and build it up, and then just kind of dot. It's kind of like, I'm going to use the back of my hand to show you, but it's kind of like dotting like in pointillism, which I don't really have a lot of color on this, so you can't see. And just kind of building on top of each other. That's going to help you blend out and give you more of a fade. Because I feel like a lot of people will take their brush and they'll like pack a ton on, and then they'll put it exactly where they want it, and then it's hard to like get the edges to fade out because they'll just keep going on that same spot. You're going to want to kind of make small shapes around it. And that's going to give you a more precise application. When I used to really struggle with blending eyeshadow, that was a huge, huge difference in how I did things. Okay, so next we're going to take Cupcake, which is here in the corner, and we're just going to spread that over my eyelid, and I'm just going to use my finger because now this has some shimmer to it, it gets just enough to catch the light, but like not enough to where, like, you see what I mean? Like it gives you enough to catch the light, but it's not, you're not going to look at that in the pan and be like, oh, that's a super shimmery eyeshadow. Because it's not. There are definitely other ones in here that are. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to get something to wipe my hand off. Okay. So next, just to kind of help with the blending, I'm going to go back into Laugh Cry and just kind of blend out that edge. Especially in my inner corner. And then when I feel like there might not be like the best blend between the two colors, what I'll do is I will take, I'm just going to take this brush again and I'm going to kind of go into Love Tons and I'm going to dip in, but then I'm also going to pick up some of that cupcake. That way then where they came together, I can get a better blend. I'm going to take that into the lower part of my crease as well. Okay, so this is what we got so far. I'm gonna, and again, please ignore the messy edges. It's fine, I promise. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this glitter. So I am gonna put on my NYX glitter glue, and I always just put this on with my finger. And the reason why I'm putting this on is because if I go to blend out any of the color after I put this on and I get glitter on, then my foundation will hopefully cover it up, but. Alright, so I'm going to do one eye first. I've noticed that if you kind of get them, this is why I do one eye at a time, if you get them to dry, you won't get as much transfer, like if you have hooded eyes, on the upper part. So I just try to keep my eye, I know I look ridiculous, keep my eye closed and just kind of give it a second to dry. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. The other thing I do when I apply these glitters is I tap them out a little bit with my finger. And I do that so that way it looks like it's like an even, and then I'll go and I'll put more on in the spots that I want it. However, because I have giant fingers, I always get some underneath, so I just try to get that off right away because once these dry, they're a little bit harder to move. So yeah, always kind of pat out my first coat. And then go back in with a second. Alright, So now that they've kind of dried a little bit, I'm going to go and I'm going to again just take my brush and dip into love tones a little bit and then just gently blend that edge. So it's going to look like that. And if you again need to blend the edge where, because I don't take the glitter all the way across, so you're also going to blend out that way too. Just like that. Okay, so before I do any more of my eyes, I'm going to go in, I'm going to actually put on my primer, my foundation, all that stuff, kind of do the rest of my face. The reason why I'm not super concerned and why I'm going to cut away with foundation, one, because I kind of feel like foundation is something that's very dependent. You know, you're going to put on foundation that feels comfortable with you. And today, just because I'm kind of breaking out, because it's not actually Valentine's Day, I'm actually going to just put on like a BB cream, nothing too crazy. If I was going out for Valentine's Day, honestly, I'd probably use my Too Faced Peachy Matte Foundation, because it's my favorite for nights out like that. But today I'm just going to kind of go throw on a BB cream, do some concealing, and I may also probably do like my bronzing a little bit, but then I'll do like blush and highlight and the bottom part of my eyes on camera. I probably will do lashes, or not lashes, liner off camera, and then too, just because I feel like I'm trying out a new product and I feel like I've been terrible with it and I've been messing up a lot. So right now, let me go ahead and get my foundation on, show you my face not so bare. Okay, so I am back. I have foundation and concealer on and I have powdered my face, not done anything else, but I am going to just kind of show you, I'm going to fix up the edges and I'm going to do the underneath real quick. So I'm just going to dip back into Laugh Cry and a Prayer, and I'm going to mix those together, but I'm going to try to pick up mostly Prayer. And I'm just going to go back and just really make sure that I've blended do that again. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. I feel like this side I'm missing like a chunk that should be darker. What do you guys think? Okay. And I'm going to go back into the cream a little bit. Just kind of really make sure that those edges are very nicely blended. I always kind of, when I do my eye makeup, I kind of go pretty far up. And then I'll take like a white cream tan shade and kind of blend it back down to give it more of like a gradual effect. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of that Love Ton shade on my e.l.f. smudger brush pretty close to the lower lash line. Just right here in the outer corner, because I want to connect the top with the bottom. I'm going to do that again on the other side. I'm not adding too much because I don't want it to be too crazy. And then I'm going to take Laugh Cry mixed with the cream. I'm going to kind of blend those together so it's not quite as bright, and then just smudge everything out. And actually, I feel like I need a fluffier brush for that. You know, sometimes I like lower lash lines a little more tight, and sometimes I like them a little more fluffy, and I feel like for this one, it needs to be a little bit more fluffy. So I'm going to take Love Tons. This is the Dose of Colors, the one that comes in the Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves palette. I love this for lower lash line work. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and do the other side again. I'm just adding more Love Tons to the bottom with not the smudger brush. And then I'm going to blend it out with Laugh Cry mixed with a little bit of the cream. Just slightly underneath where I had tight lined. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is wipe off this brush, because I think I'm just going to use this for the inner corner too. Alright, so for the inner corner, I'm still going to take that same one. I'm going to dip into Oh Heavens, which is a beautiful shimmery shade. It's actually going to be the shade that we use to do our face highlight with today. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and contour or bronze. I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I'm going to use my Wet n Wild brush. And I always just put it, again, just like right here. If this is the top of my ear, this is my mouth, just kind of along this edge right here. I love this brush. It's kind of pinched together, so it's like fluffy, but not. And then I just go around my hairline a little bit, and then I'll do the other side. And no, I'm not using a mirror right now, so if I make a big mistake, you'll know why. I'm just going to take a little above up here, just kind of warm up the face a little bit. I use the Missha BB Cream, and in the shade I'm in, sometimes it looks a little bit gray, and I kind of feel like when I initially put it on, it kind of washes me out. So I feel like this is a shade where I needed a little bit of something today that wasn't too cool toned. So otherwise I would have looked real gray. Okay. The next thing I'm going to use is this e.l.f. blush in Marvelous Mauve. It's just a really nice shade. I'm going to take my Eco Tools brush. This actually has a mirror, so I can use a mirror for this one. Okay, and now we'll do the other side. So next I'm going to grab back out my palette, and now if you want a like glow from space highlight, you're not going to want to use this, but if you want more of like an ethereal glow, which I do with this look, I'm going to use Oh Heavens out of this palette. And I'm just taking my Luxie brush, which is what I usually use to highlight, and dipping it into the pan. Whenever I put glitter on my eyes, I kind of want that to be the focus and not to really have too much glitter or shine anywhere else. And again, to me this look is more like fun, whimsical Valentine's Day, not like smoldering hot Valentine's Day. But I mean, let's I don't know how my lighting's gonna pick that up, but like let's talk about that glow. Like, it's a beautiful glow. I like it. And typically I like more, I mean, I guess it depends on my mood and the look that I'm doing, which will kind of determine if I want more of like an do I want more of a look from like outer space, bright, flashy highlight? Do I want more of a glow highlight? I feel like it just kind of depends on the look that I'm doing. When I do more like matte eye looks, I have a tendency to do more of like a glow from space highlighter. When I do looks like this with a lot of glitter on the eye, I have a tendency to use more of like a glowy, radiating highlight. Is my nose glowing enough yet? Sorry about that. Apparently we had stopped recording. So I went ahead, since I realized that the camera had stopped, I was in the middle of finishing up my highlight. Loving that glow. I went ahead and put on eyeliner and mascara and just kind of finished off my eyes with that stuff. Sometimes I wear false lashes, and when I do, honestly, I typically buy inexpensive lashes that aren't really that extreme. So which is why I also don't wear them very often. I just kind of look for a good mascara. I don't like the idea of spending a lot on lashes, mostly because I don't really like the idea of continually reusing them. I pretty much have a 3-time rule. So I use them 3 times. Once I've used them the 3 times, I'm kind of done with them. Yes, I know people say you can clean them, but I just kind of feel like they're never that clean, and they're going by my eyes, and I am a contact wearer, and so I just kind of feel like the glue and the buildup and everything like that. So personally, I don't really wear them more than 3 times, so I typically buy cheaper pairs. I do have a tendency, usually it's Ardell, elf lashes. Sometimes I get them from TJ Maxx, and I cannot think of the brand that I buy from there. But to finish off the look, I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. So I'm doing the Dose of Colors in Stone. And then just to add a little bit more shimmer, I'm going to top it with Anastasia's lip gloss in Venus. This is very glittery, so I'm just going to put it right in the middle. And then just tap it out with my finger. Just like that. Here, I'll lean a little closer. So this is our completed look. Can we talk about that highlight? And it's just an eyeshadow. So I hope you really liked this. Sorry about the camera technical difficulties, but this is my Valentine's Day look.